the rain, the sun shines, but what happens after the winter? This is season 2 of Queen Sugar. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, 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 guys. Welcome back to Queen Sugar Season 2.
Yes.
Like, this song playing, no, for real. When the first part of this season opener happening, I was like, oh, what song is this?
Right, this song rocks.
I didn't even realize. I know this because of this music video. I didn't realize what song, but I've seen this video before. If you haven't seen the video, look it up because it's so dope. The style in it is like sick. So
well, tell everybody what song this is.
Oh, I guess we should say.
This song is called Castles by Bosco featuring Styles B, I think. Something like that.
Hey.
But it's actually super dope.
Yes.
The music selection was really good these 2 episodes.
Yes, it cranks.
Anyway, welcome to AfterBuzz Season 2 of Queen Sugar. You have a whole new panel live in effect. I'm Elayna. You can follow me on all social platforms at hey_it's_lay.
And hola, my people. You know what's going on. It's Franceli Chapman, and you can follow me at all things at Selly. Hang out with me.
Hey, and I'm Ryann Graham. You can find me on Twitter at Ryan with 2 N's Graham, and on Instagram at Instagram.
And as you guys always know, I am English Cleveland, and you can always find me on Instagram at Pink English, as well as on Twitter, English Speaks.
Come on.
Yeah. All right, y'all.
I'm really excited to get into this season because not only did we have 1 episode, we had 2, and I think that they were both really bulky in good ways. Like you had moments where your heart was dropping, you was about to cry. You had other moments where you was like ready to slap Davis across his head, and like fight him.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Shout outs to the writers Monica and Jason, Monica Macer and Jason Wilburn, who wrote episodes 1 and 2 because.
Together or?
Well, no. Monica Macer wrote the first episode, and Jason Wilburn wrote the second one that played tonight.
Okay.
I kind of want to get in started with Micah because I feel like he's gonna set the tone for where the season is going, and I think with the climate of where we are in America today, even this week,
Jesus.
it's I feel like that's gonna be like a lot of it. So we might as well just go ahead and tackle that. When we were watching the first episode, there was a moment where I stared at the screen and I said, please don't die, please don't die, please don't die. What were your thoughts when you were kind of watching what was happening with Micah's situation?
That whole moment was super tense. Like, I mean, obviously, like, anytime you see a young black man and the police officer on TV, especially in the climate we're in, like, you go, oh, this is where this is going. I had a feeling he wasn't going to die. I did think he was going to get shot because I was like, way to start a season, like, let's start with a bang, literally. Right. And then they cut to a commercial break, so it was like, whoa, oh, like that. Okay, that happened. Like, it was like such a cliffhanger. It was like, I don't know, like, I always knew he was going to be okay because I feel like there's no way they're going to kill him off episode 1.
Right.
Like, no.
And he's a main character.
Yeah, I'm like, they're not going to kill him. Could he have gotten shot? 100%. So it was definitely a scary moment. I don't know.
I wasn't sure. I was kind of like, okay, obviously this is definitely parallel to modern day activity.
Right.
But I didn't think that, like you said, I didn't think he could die just because it wouldn't go along with the storyline. And if he did die, it would be quite interesting to see Charley and Davis's relationship during that point. So I don't think the show would expand that big right now.
Yeah.
If you're one of those people that don't like the extra commentary by the Peanut Gallery, you don't want to watch the show with me. Because I'm the one that's like, of course, his hand is on the gun, and he ain't even... So he reached for the glove compartment, and you... See, I'm not even thinking about him dying. I'm just thinking about this what y'all do, this how y'all feel. Like, I'm just angry that we don't know how to de-escalate a situation. We're escalating the situation. And I say we because, you know, I'm not just going to blame one certain party. It's about how we all as a community, how can we cultivate a situation where we all learn how to treat each other better and how to do better instead of jumping to judgment. At the end of the day, can he or can he not afford this car is up for question, but why is that even a question?
Right.
You know, like, it doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter at all.
What did you pull me over for in the first place? And then not knowing your rights. Like, I don't... This kid is just not aware because he's been living this privileged life for so long. So I'm glad that this happened, although it's unfortunate because it's getting him woke, and he needed to be woke.
He had like one of those Tiger Woods moments where he's like, he lived this life where he was like, oh no, it's all good. I mean, not Tiger Woods in the sense that he didn't know he was black, but like he really knows he's black now.
Right,
like,
for sure.
Because like in the eyes of, unfortunately, in the eyes of a lot of police officers, like you are still just a black man, and it's like, what are you doing? And you must be causing trouble. There's no way you can be doing this. And I don't know. It's just. it's just unfortunate that this situation had to happen, but I mean, it's real, and I think people need to see it.
Definitely, if you're in the chat room, let us know your thoughts on that particular scene, and even your attitude about the first 2 episodes. Were you pleasantly surprised? Are you excited? Did it disappoint you? Like, did you expect more? We definitely want to hear from you. But Franceli brought up a good point, and I kind of jotted this down because I feel like middle-class black kids, we have different experiences than lower-class black kids, and I feel like with Micah in particular, maybe he's not middle class, maybe he's a bit higher class, but because of the situation with his mom and his dad, he's kind of being knocked down because she doesn't have all the funds that his dad has. And I think that we, like, not we, but as far as Micah's situation, he went to school with very privileged kids that didn't look like him. He lived a life he was living in Los Angeles. He grew up in Los Angeles in a very, big house with an NBA star dad. So I think that there's a certain kind of invincibility that comes when you grow up in a climate like that. And I think even when we saw him pee in his pants, like, my heart broke for him.
Yes.
But I also knew that this was a side that he knew he was black, but this was a side of his blackness that he didn't know he could experience or could happen to him.
Right.
I guess maybe I didn't, like, I don't feel like Micah, like, I do think he's privileged, but I don't feel like he thought he was invincible. Like, I feel like naive, sure, but you thought you got the invincible vibe from him? Because I feel like he doesn't seem like arrogant, like, what the cops aren't going to do anything to me. I don't feel like I got that from him.
Yeah, no, he's very humble and he's curious, but I think when you're a kid and you're like 16 and you have mom and dad, you don't necessarily think that nothing bad is going to happen or you can't go through nothing because he's very mature. But I do think there's a sense of this can't happen. Like, this can't happen to me.
I mean, think about it. When he was in LA, he had a driver.
Right.
And now that he, moved down south, his mom takes him to school. This is the first time he's really driving on his own. For his birthday, his dad got him this fancy car. So you're not automatically thinking, oh, this car is going to attract this into my life.
True. Especially like, we're based in LA, so like there are nice cars everywhere all day. So to him, it's literally nothing.
And plus, his dad is who his dad is.
Right.
And that comes with something. We can't even make it seem like that doesn't come with a bit of arrogance. And not even arrogance like in a bad way, but just a bit of like
naivety.
Like I hold a certain clout. Like the way
ignorance is a better word.
The way his father was able to just waltz into this police station and kind of like do what he does because of his celebrity. I mean, you can.
I mean, go ahead.
I kind of have a different outlook though, because I feel like he doesn't care about any of this stuff. Micah.
Okay.
I don't think Micah cares about the car. I think he was just driving it because it was like, let me just see what it does. So I don't know if, for me, I don't know if he's naive or he's more ignorant. I don't think he even cares. Honestly, I think he could give the car back if really that would make him more happy than anything.
I agree. Like I don't think that he's a stuck-up kid. I think that he's very humble and he's grateful for what he has and what he gets. He doesn't let it define him, but he's also getting a taste of a life that he's never experienced.
Right.
Because in the beginning, he didn't even want to move down to the South with his mom. It was a fight. And I guess that brings us kind of to the Bordelons a little bit because he felt like he can lean on Nova a bit. And you can see that barrier where he kind of wanted to talk to her about what he was feeling, but there was this sense of I'm okay, I'm doing fine. And then at the end, he kind of just breaks down in her arms.
I guess for me, like, I feel like a lot of that stems from like, especially in the black community, there's a lot of hypermasculinity. And there's a lot of, and I mean, Micah doesn't strike me as a type who's like is doing it on purpose, but I think like just it's ingrained in us as black men. They're like, no, we're always okay. We're all like, it's just something that we grow up learning. And I don't think that Micah is an extreme of that, but I do think that definitely deals with how you grieve and how you handle situations. And I feel like that was the reason he's not talking. Not necessarily because he didn't want to, but it's like it's almost like as black men we don't know how a lot of times. Especially with like I feel like Davis doesn't seem like the type of dad to like I'm sure he like, not that he's not a loving dad, but I feel like he doesn't not like how Ralph Angel is with Blue, where like there's a lot of like he says I love you and there's a lot of sensitivity with Ralph Angel. Davis doesn't strike me as that type of dad, and so if you've never seen that and you don't experience that, how can you express yourself? Like you don't know how, and I can see that's frustrating. Right?
Do you I definitely get it. Do you think that, though, if Davis is getting what he wants as far as joint custody, do you think that his relationship with Micah would improve to that level?
For me personally,
Yeah,
what I think
from your perspective.
I feel like Davis's ploy to get joint custody of Micah has nothing to do with Micah and everything to do with getting back at Charley. But that's me, and I don't like Davis to begin with. So like,
if it was really about Micah, he would actually ask Micah, "What kind of car do you want? What do you want?"
Right.
Let me not be out in the club with my arm around a lady, and let me actually take the time to focus on my child.
Y'all, did y'all see Davis let his aunt-in-law get kicked out the club?
Yeah,
it was bad, but I was
tight. I was tight.
Raggedy.
Let me tell you,
raggedy.
I just feel like, and that's why I love Charley's line, like, how can you look yourself in the mirror?
Yeah.
Because it's like, look how you're allowing women to be treated, and this is all about your pride and your ego. And even being at the club is pride and ego. Like, my son blew me off. Like, wait, what? He's 16 years old. He has the right to feel these feelings, and instead of you like trying to figure out, pop up on him, or like wait for him at home and be at the steps of the house like, son, let's talk. No, you're like, he blew me off, and you in your feelings.
And I'm like,
grown man.
Every 16-year-old, male or female, blows their parents off. No 16-year-old wants to hang out with their parents, regardless of the situation. So like, that's not you. Like, get over yourself, David. Like, sorry, Davis irks me to no end. I hate him.
And it's not. It's. Because then I feel like, to a certain degree, Micah is blowing off his mom because he just doesn't want to be in the middle of any of it. But Charley shows real strength of what it means to be a parent, in the sense of like, sometimes the hardest thing to do is give your child space. That phone call, she was, her heart was aching and breaking, and she was reaching out for him for comfort in a particular way for their like son-mother relationship. And in that moment, he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't want it. And she had to be the bigger person and the parent and say, okay. And that to me was just so, it took a lot of strength to do that. And it was such a beautiful scene. I loved it.
I thought it was interesting how the producers and the directors showed us that even though we look at Davis as this big money baller who's in the pro, when he got to the station, they were fancied about his famous. They weren't necessarily fancied about anything else. So like when he first asked about his son, they were like, we cannot find him. Like, I mean, they went back and checked, but he didn't have any extra pull or clout that anyone else would have had. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh my gosh, let me give you special treatment. We're so sorry this happened to your son. It was like, here you go. You know what I mean? So I was actually really excited to see that Davis was nobody.
But they did. I feel like in the end they did turn around. Like, it's like they started to recognize who he was.
Well, because they wouldn't have went and checked the tank for Charley or Aunt Vi. They did it only the holding cell. They only did it for Davis. I felt like
that's what I got from it too.
But you know what? I also thought about another point of Micah's maybe closing up. If we think about last season, when he watched his mom make a deal with his dad over him just for the sake of her getting the farm. So now it's almost like, who does he run to? Who does he talk to? He does lean a lot on Nova, because Nova really listens to him. She takes him in. She actually cares about, his well-being. But it kind of seems like Micah's in the middle as a pawn for whatever each of them want. So it's like Davis wants Charley, so it's like, oh, I want Micah full custody. And then it's like Charley wants this mill, so she makes deals with Davis's name with Micah in the middle of it. And so I honestly feel that Micah doesn't have anyone to go to, so he showed up to the rally where Nova was at to kind of show himself, like, where should I be? What do I belong to? Because she's actually kind of made him feel a little bit like he belongs.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like Nova's the only one who actually listens to him at this point. But
she definitely puts what he wants first.
Right.
However, I feel like, and I say this over and over anytime there's like a parent-child relationship on screen, because it really gives you perspectives. Parents are so overlooked, like the sacrifices and the things that you go to. So yes, I agree with you, English, about like last season, she used Micah as a pawn to get what she wanted, or to get Davis here and everything like that. But I feel like overall, she loves him so much and she tries so hard.
Oh, absolutely.
And you really see that, opposed to the other side of the parenting. Like, some people may say Davis is trying, but I personally feel like he could try harder. Like, you just did this to your wife and your child. Like, and I think in his mind, he thinks it's two different things, and it's not.
Right.
But it's multi-layered because Charley ain't all squeaky clean either.
Also true.
She's very manipulative. She's conniving. She's vengeful. Controlling.
Yeah, she is.
She's beautiful. She's stunning. She's confident. I mean, I can say a lot of positive things about her too, because I'm not chipping down no black woman. But she's, you know, that's the beauty about what these writers are doing with this show. They have multi-layers to these women, and they're complicated and they're messy, and that's who we are as human beings. But her forging this signature is going to come to bite her in the arse, you know. And I'm just like, man, I really, really wish she didn't do that. I mean, for me, it makes me angry in general that a woman, for the most part, is defined by the man that she's cleaved to, that her identity is in that. Society keeps creating this narrative that if, like what they were saying at the reunion of the baby shower, like, oh, why does it have to be about us being complete as women, has to equate to a husband and children, that we can't stand on our own. And so I appreciate that about the business deal. It made me angry that they were like, well, we only want to do this deal with you if your husband's attached to it.
I think that part of what drove her to forge that signature honestly was a police station, because it was like, so when she first went and they were like, we have to have Davis's signature too, his brand is the reason we want. Which, can we pause and talk about that? Because I thought, what brand, like, I know what Davis's brand is.
She created that brand,
right? Well, and how does that relate to farming? I feel like that was just a weird, like, why would you want that brand on a farm? That's
it's
silly.
Small town South people. I feel like they don't know, and they're like, we just want a celebrity and a name to have something to say.
I guess I was like, that seems like those brands don't match up, but whatever. But I feel like that, coupled with the fact that she couldn't get Micah out, but as soon as Davis showed up, they were like, oh, let's make some deals for Davis. I feel like she's just getting to the point where, and that all last season was always about Davis, so she's like, you know what, I don't want to be attached to him anymore.
But did she sign the paper before or after?
No, it was after. She forged it. Like, that was like one of the last things that happened. She forged the signature after they went to the police station.
The thing about it though, and I don't negate anything that you guys are saying about Charley. Like, she has her faults, but I think the eyes that I'm seeing with when I view her is this broken-hearted person. Like, even if you listen to her monologue in the first part of the episode, like, she kept saying, there's no me without Davis. Like the world around her, the world that she lived in, no matter how hard she worked to build his brand, no matter how bomb of a wife she was, how bomb of a mom she is. Because even when we were first introduced to her in the season 1, we saw them on the rooftop of their apartment, and she was all being sexy and you know, whatever before all the drama happened. And I feel like she's in this world where she's constantly making bad ethical decisions because she's in this place where, who am I really without him by my side? When I divorce him, who am I? So, and I think that's where a lot of the fight with her siblings come in. Outside of them only sharing a dad and whatever else they went through, she's in this battle where I need to fight to have something, to stand on my own. Like, I have these degrees, yes, I have this power, but now I'm being broken in so many ways. And on top of me being broken via my ex-husband and my family, now I have a son who's rejecting me, and I'm loving him the only way I know how.
Right? No.
Like, so she's in this battle where it's like,
I don't think she's like a bad person.
No, she's definitely not a bad person. I think just like if any of us were thrown into an experience that we never could fathom, we can only reach and grab for what we know. And she went home to her family, and that was rule number 1, which everyone usually does when they're in trouble. And then she never experienced having to own a farm and grow a mill and like all this stuff. And then now she's having to make decisions by herself against the person who she was like all about, and that was supposed to be all about her. So I mean, I don't think she's a bad person. I think she's just having to make decisions, and of course she's letting some things manipulate her mind and money, and there's deals, and she's also a businesswoman, and she's a boss, and sometimes have to make manipulative decisions.
I mean, whenever it happens in the season when Ralph Angel drops this bomb that the land is really all his, I think Charley's gonna lose it, you know, because like you said, this is the thing that she's been holding on to, that is the piece of her being able to be severed from Davis and have something that she can stand on her own with and be a profitable, successful black woman. Like, what? A black woman owns her own mill? Like, that's unheard of.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, this is gonna get ugly.
T Paris O in the chat room says Charley has a lot to learn too. She has her flaws, and he hopes that she can find her own power outside of Davis. I think that's a she. Sorry, wasn't able to see the photo. And I agree. I hope she's able to find her power outside of Davis too. And I want to see her growing that way. But it's like every time she takes a step, she does something dumb.
Like, what are you doing?
Come on. So you kind of brought up Ralph Angel holding on to this bomb, and we see him. Is he more clean to y'all?
Like Jesus.
I don't know what it is.
Be
but he just looks a little bit more.
Man, he's too young.
He's a little bit more.
The older he's getting, he needs to come over to my house.
Lord,
please, Ralph Angel.
Meet you somewhere.
I can't.
No, you guys. He's a family man now.
Yeah, he's working on his family.
He's doing his thing.
Oh, wait, he's married?
No,
we're talking about the show.
Not Kofi.
Not Kofi.
Ralph Angel.
Kofi is too young. Kofi's 23.
He's
come on, know his life.
I mean,
he's too young.
I gotta check the credits.
What's not too young? What age would get you?
Listen, we're not talking about my personal life. We're gonna talk about the show. But praise the Lord for making that man. Like, let's praise him for that.
Yeah, he. We see him working on his family, and it's a really awesome transition because last season he was getting out of jail, finding his way, not really having a place, and now he's kind of, I feel like he's finding like his path and what to do, although he's stuck under Charley's thumb, which sucks because I feel like she's belittling him in some ways.
Totally.
Well, how do you guys feel about, I guess, the way that she kind of controls him as if he's like some kind of horse?
It's like, I mean, and I feel like I don't want people to think I'm only harping on Charley, but I feel like it's a control thing. I think I think because she's losing control, like at least one way she can control this situation is through the money, and so she blocked Ralph Angel from, you know, being able to withdraw from the bank. It sucks for him, but I love that he took the initiative. And Remy is such a good dude. Like, we can get to Remy later, but he had the little pep talk. Remy had a pep talk with Ralph and got him to be like, you know, you can get this grant. Like, it doesn't matter about your criminal history as long as you're not making or selling drugs. And like, so he kind of gave Ralph Angel that confidence that he needed, and it's good to see him take that and go, okay, I can do this on my own. I don't need my sisters. Like, I'm gonna make this happen no matter what. And it's awesome to see that in a black man. And then honestly, he's such a good dad. Any scene he's in with Blue, I'm like, God, this is the most precious thing in the world. So.
I know. I'm so happy to finally see Ralph Angel at the point where when someone does tell him no, he does not take another option, like the matter in his own hands. Like, I was a little bit nervous when the guy at the bank was like, no, and he told Blue, let's go, and he went to go drop Blue off at Aunt Vi. I was like, oh no, what is he gonna do now? Because we've seen him time and time again make bad decisions. And so coming from that, I don't know if he's shown himself approved enough to Charley to be able to prove to her, you know what, I am a responsible adult. I'm not gonna go to the bank and just withdraw money because I want to buy a speaker system or you know, like whatever stupid stuff he was doing before last season.
But that's the point that I was gonna bring up. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, but I think this whole new season is about Ralph Angel wanting to be taken serious.
Yes.
And so in that light, that's what's motivating him and driving him these whole 2 episodes. It's like, look, and even when he has like his whole thing with Darla, man, like he's like, I don't understand why you need these meetings and what you're doing. Like, he's like, I need them to take me serious. And at first I was like, wait, whoa, what? But then I put it together that, you know, he really believes in them as a union and as a team, and his future has her in it, and her being attached to him, if she ain't right, then you're not making right decisions because you're still choosing her. So whatever decision she makes affects him as well, which is why being equally yoked is important.
I think so, which is why, okay, this is really good because I don't know, do you guys have siblings? And is anyone the eldest?
Go ahead.
I'm the baby. I'm the youngest.
Okay, so you're Ralph Angel.
Yeah, I'm the Ralph Angel.
And I'm Charley. So
I'm a Charley too. Yeah. So I'm like, is my little brother? He's not ready.
Yeah,
so,
But
my boo boo.
You're Nova.
I'm both. So my mother just had me and my brother. I'm the eldest, and then my father had 7 kids, and I'm smack in the middle of the 7. God. So it's like you know, in my home, I was the oldest and had all these responsibilities. But then when we all get together, I feel like the odd man out. Like, it's really, really weird being in that middle range, and it's been crazy.
And I bring up that point because I do feel like Charley is being a little too tough because when I say too tough, not as far as letting him take out money on the bank on his own, but Vine said it. She does need to affirm him and encourage him and stop trying to always beat him down, especially if her goal is to see him flourish on his own. So that's my thing with her. However, I get it. I get him being in this situation of going to jail and making bad decisions and not yet being ready to trust him with everything. Yeah. When everything else for you is going so wrong, it's like, I can't afford to make that decision because if you do one thing wrong, we're all screwed.
And she's like, I don't have time. I already have to deal with XYZ. I don't have time to also deal with ABC. So like, I get where she's coming from.
I get where she's coming from. I wish she would be a little bit more supportive to her, like build him up a bit so that he can have his own and she can trust him. But as a big sister, I get it. Like, I need you to do more than what I know you could, what I knew you could already do. Now I need you to really go above and beyond and be consistent.
Well, I think too, because like the other women around him see it. They're like, man, can't you see that he's like working hard? And even the farmers around the town that knew his father were like, man, your dad would be so proud. Like, you're thinking ahead, you're making these decisions. And this one person who he loves and looks up to doesn't see that in him.
Because what is he gonna fight for once she lets up?
So, but this is the thing. The double side of the coin to that is that, to a certain degree, that's the base level. That is the standard. That's where you should have been performing from to begin with. Right. And so it's like everyone's giving you a ribbon and a doggy biscuit for doing what
you should be doing.
It's like the dads are like, I take care of my kid. Like, you want
they're not starving.
Like, what? That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take care of your kid. Like, this is your farm. You're supposed to do these things. So why should I be kind of praising you for doing what is expected?
Right.
So I understand that point, but someone that comes from the background he's come from and has been able to survive. There's a lot of men who come out of jail that aren't able to acclimate. The world doesn't allow them that second chance. It's supposed to be rehabilitation, but that's not real because they come out and they can't get jobs and they can't have access to health care and they can't vote. Like, there's all these things, these roadblocks. So he has this opportunity, and I think it is important to encourage our black men that are coming back from the system. And his own sister's not giving him that. So it's like, I get it as well, but I'm also like, man, like, he needs extra push. Yeah. Because it's a special circumstance.
Yeah. And he's sensitive.
Yeah.
He's the baby though.
He's
so
like an R&B dude.
But you know what? The most beautiful thing about his sensitivity is the way that he parents. Because even when the guy came up to them at the restaurant and said that he needed a transformer, and that brings up a conversation with like black families and gender roles. Because I mean, not even black family, brown families, because the guy looks like he was Hispanic.
Latino.
So there's just certain gender role that you have, like boys can't play with pink or you know, the girly colors. You can't play with dolls. You need something more masculine.
I played with G.I. Joe.
Pause. Okay, I feel like I understand that, but I agree with it. I feel
what do you agree with?
I agree that like there shouldn't that gender roles are blended and that is not like that a man can do. Like a woman can do just as much as a man can do, and vice versa. If that makes sense in the home. But I'm saying when the server came up and said, "Oh, you should play with," I felt like Ralph Angel responded super harsh because I was like, I don't think he was saying like, "Oh, you can't play with this doll." I think he was just saying, "Oh, Transformers are cool." Like, I don't think he was trying to belittle Blue Angel. Is that just me? Am I the only one?
I thought that too in the beginning.
That they were.
Wait, no, I didn't.
Belittling him? I felt like he was just being like, "Oh,
they were."
You do? Okay.
Yeah, because I think they're trying to bring awareness to that situation in a black family on a show. And it's not something that is on a lot of black shows, whether it's like gay or like transgender and then children and all of that stuff. Like, we see that on like every white show on television. But we don't have that.
But I also think it raises even a higher elevated thinking of just because he's playing with the doll, does that equate that he's gonna grow up to be gay? Because I played with G.I. Joes growing up and Barbies.
I was a full tomboy.
But G.I. Joes, because I grew up with brothers.
But some people say that, and now this genderless age, they say, oh, well, I only love to play with G.I. Joes, and that's how I knew I was a lesbian. I mean, I'm just saying, like, certain people identify certain things.
But that's inaccurate. So that's why I feel like that's why it's important to have that's happening in the show, because it's like, I am one of the most girly girls you'll ever meet. I just grew up with 5 brothers, you know, and so they played with G.I. Joes. I want to play with G.I. Joes. And so I believe what's really happening, he missed out on his mom. And his father was in jail. And so I believe that the doll represents his mother and his attachment to needing that female figure in his life, and that he's surrounded by women. I don't want to necessarily jump to that conclusion that because he plays with this doll, he's going to be gay.
No.
And ultimately, even if he turns out to be gay,
so what?
It's not a problem.
No, it's not.
When the waiter walked up, I didn't immediately feel like he was attacking the fact that Blue had a doll. But, you know, seeing how Ralph Angel responded, I can see how you got that. It was like, okay, well, why are you commenting on his doll when we just asked you about Ice Cream Sunday? I get it.
He had no business.
Yeah. And you and it's sensitive for people. Like, don't worry about my child and what my child doing, and you know somebody will be quick to pop up on you about their kids.
Right.
So you got to be you've got to be careful. But initially, when he was first speaking, I didn't feel that he had like this negative tone or he was like trying to attack. But I definitely can see where he overstepped, which is why it's beautiful. We need these conversations. We need to be talking about it. Like especially as millennials who may not have kids yet. It's like, okay, well, when you do have kids, are you going to break that type of Are you going to break that type of gender role? Because I think that Ralph Angel was a beautiful example of, this is my son is going to be my son, and he's going to be able to play and do what he wants. You know what I mean?
And typically you don't see a black father acting that way.
Ever.
Especially in the South. Especially in the South as well.
Oh, yeah. Like, I feel like the further south you go, like, well, I mean, and like, just kind of where people are in at different points in society. But yeah, for sure, I can see black dads stereotypically not being very accepting of
their son playing with the Barbie.
So I brought up Nova's name minutes ago. We just kind of ran with that.
We did.
And I kind of want to get you guys' opinion, because when I watch this show, like, I'm so happy to be on this panel because finally I get to talk to people about it. Like, do y'all feel like Nova's a hypocrite?
Why? Because she's sleeping with white men?
Not because she's sleeping with white men, but because she is so pro-black and pro-black girl magic, but when it comes to her ventures with white men, it's so on the hush-hush. And I think that sometimes
she knows how she'll be judged for it.
But I was gonna say, and I think that sometimes if you are pro-black, you have to quiet any type of
I was just having I was just having this conversation. I know with my friend. My friend was saying that he's African American, and I consider myself Afro Latina, and we were having this heated debate about the N-word and whether or not other colors should be allowed to use it. And then we also had a conversation about how his friend, she passionately feels that black men should not date any other race.
Interesting.
That black men should only be with black women if they're really pro-black. So then I asked him, I said, well, would she have a problem with you dating a Spanish woman? And he's like, yes. And I was just like, so that got me all, because, you know, at the end of the day, I am a Spanish woman, but I know I come from the African diaspora, and I consider myself a black woman. And it gets real touchy, and growing up, I felt that from certain black women, that when I dated African American men, they felt some type of way because I'm dating their men. And I can see why Nova would feel like people are gonna judge me for this. I can be pro-black and love who I love.
Right.
And I think her sleeping around now is more so that she's trying to like cover what she feels for this particular man, because all these men look like him.
Yeah, she's trying. This is definitely her.
She's like, I'm getting copies.
This is definitely her trying to get over Calvin for sure.
Yeah,
I agree.
But I guess I see why she hides it, but I just feel like she puts on this persona that like I don't care what people think, I'm gonna do, and then just it's weird that this one aspect
but that's
of her
the hypocrite
life,
question that comes
I
up.
put that makes it hypocritical because I'm like, you don't care what other people think in any other aspect, so why would this one particular thing? Like, I get that people are gonna judge you, I understand that, but I'm like, people judge you for so many other things. Why is this one thing?
But was Nova at all very physical in any of her relationships in public?
With the one with the girl?
Was she?
Yeah.
Were they physical in public?
I mean, they were outside.
I don't think that she was really public with the girl.
And I think the only reason though is because Calvin was married. And people seem to forget that.
But every person she dates is like a secret. It's like a lesbian. It's a married guy. And now it's a white guy.
Remember they went to the bar and they almost got into the fight?
Because that woman, that man spit in her face.
Yeah, but they went to like some like white undisclosed bar that no one ever goes to.
So I think that Nova doesn't date, like I think that she's very exclusive. Although she's sleeping around with people, I think that as far as her going public, it's with somebody that she actually cares for. And the only person that she actually cares for is Calvin. So if she can't go out in public with Calvin, she's not taking just anybody out in the streets to be like, oh, that's mine. Like, I just don't think that that's happening, and I think that that's the problem too, because it's like she runs around and she tells everybody to live out loud, live out loud, live out loud, and then you're like,
but what are you doing?
All in a corner.
But let's keep it all the way real. How effective would she be? When she walked into that barbershop, everything went silent. This black queen just walked into the room. The regalness, the weight that she holds in the community, that would all be flushed down the toilet, honestly. Black men wouldn't want to follow her if they knew she's sleeping with the white man.
I don't think so.
I think that the black men in her community would not follow her the way that they do.
Part of me, I don't know if it's even, like, yes, I do think that, like, him being white makes it worse.
Right.
But honestly, I feel like the fact that if she's with that makes it even worse. That's
so much going on.
But what I'm saying, I think the fact that she's with another man in general, I feel like her
being single,
it makes that, like, you do things for people when you have that
availability.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying. That's so really I feel like no matter who it is, yes, him being white and him being a cop are other layers that would make it worse, but I feel like any man she would be with, in terms of walking into a barbershop and them all being like, because I mean, that's just, guys are stupid. We will do whatever we can.
Come on, Ryan.
We will do whatever we can if we think we're gonna sleep. Like, I mean, like, so we're like, so I feel like, yes, him being a cop and being white makes it worse, but I feel like any man will be the same result.
But Ryan brings up such a fantastic point, because even with branding and management, and when people are artists and they're in the spotlight, a lot of times they'll tell you, don't say that you're in a relationship.
Right.
For sure.
Even if you are, because the appeal that you're attainable will make your fans happy. Because look what happened to Usher's career when he got married.
But you know what? Okay, so that's why I disagreed with you. I disagreed with you because I don't feel like, because of who Nova is,
right,
I don't think that no white man can take away her blackness. I think that she's still gonna have that regalness, and when she walks into the room, she's still gonna get that respect because she is that queen.
Right.
Like, and we have Eve as an example. Eve was this real hood rapper, and she's married to this very Caucasian billionaire, and she still has her street. You know, she still has her street cred. I think it's about being in a relationship, period, opposed to like with
specifically a white person.
Yes.
And unfortunately, though, because of our communities, you are going to be looked at a little differently depending on what. Because I feel like we have, like, you know, everybody's black, basically, and then you have like these subgroups, and
everybody's black.
I'm saying, as far as the community, no. As far as the community, the black community, you know, with Nova and the barbershop, but you have these subgroups, so. Once you start dating outside of your race, they kind of take a little bit of your blackness away. It's like, okay, yeah, you're black, but you're whitewashed, or they start kind of
putting labels on you.
You can't speak on certain topics because you don't really know, because you hang out with these people. Yeah. So I think, but with Nova, I don't think that that's the case, because she is so rich in her culture. You know what I mean? And I guess that's where I come from when I asked about the hypocriteness, because I always like it's wish-washy with Nova for me. Like, I love her and I love who she is, and I think that she's a great aunt and a family person, and then she makes these decisions and choices in her personal life that she keeps behind closed doors, which you should, you know, be private, but the way that she goes about it, sometimes I'm just like, come on, like.
Well, I mean, her whole life she's a journalist that sells and grows weed out of her house with a guy. I mean, if we go about contradicting, I think she honestly just lives her life.
Yeah.
She just lives her life, and loves a white guy, and it's not good for her being an activist in the community to keep, like you said, these black men on track, to keep them from selling weed, to just go and get her weed, so just to keep, you know, I think ultimately it would be bad if it was like Nova's dating a white cop.
Yeah, no, yeah, it will just look bad all around.
Yeah.
Child, her whole life gonna be in shambles.
Shambles.
Well, but he's gone now, which and then maybe I missed it, maybe I forgot, because I'm saying, like, I don't remember them like officially breaking up, so I was like, oh wait, what is this about? And maybe that's me
she
not
was on the
remembering.
phone and said, I can't, I gotta let you go or something. I don't know, in the recap.
But it just sounded like, I don't know, like, you're right, never mind, I remember this is coming back.
It seems like, though, if you guys look at the chain of events, it seems like everyone is kind of being put in slow motion right now, and as far as their relationships.
Right.
Charley got put in her place with, what's his name? Remy. Aunt Vi got put in her place with Hollywood. Who else? Nova's getting put in her.
Micah and Kiki seem to be strong.
They're okay. Micah can't take any more of this.
No, we definitely should start a relationship.
But Ralph Angel has been put in his place with Darla.
Yeah,
really put him in his place.
Can we talk about her for a second and just how proud I am of her? Like, when we were introduced to her, I was a little concerned because we heard about what she did with Blue and, you know, her crackhead ways. No offense,
right.
you know. But,
Yeah.
so I was a little concerned about her, but to see her this season, she's strong.
Yeah.
And she's stable, and she's like more clear, like she's thinking clearly, and she's really trying.
She's self-aware.
Yeah.
She's very self-aware.
Smart enough to know this is what I want. It's not you. I just know that to give my best self to you, I need to take some time and work on me, and so I'm going to take a step back. It doesn't mean I don't want to be with you. It's just that right now I'm not the person I want to be for you.
Yeah, and then she's being a mom, because she's like, I don't need him to act like that in public. Okay, honey?
Right.
I am the mother.
Can we see the hand again? Hello.
Yes.
Get it all together.
But that was the through line in general, because I feel like that's what's happening with Hollywood. He needed his space to figure things out, because you didn't trust and believe in the integrity and respect I had for you, even though it looked crazy. If you would stand on the solid foundation we built, you would take a second to listen to me. And because you didn't, then I don't want to do this right now. Then, you know, Remy's like, you're at the end of the day still married, and you need to take time to grieve this marriage. And unfortunately, a lot of people do that. We jump from situation to situation without taking the time to really get self-aware and heal, because then we're gonna bring all that brokenness and baggage into the next situation. And he's like,
he's already broken.
And he's broken
He's
too.
healing.
He's in the process of his healing. So it's like, it takes a lot of maturity to be like, although this is what I want, I can't have it right now. You know, like oh man, and that's tough, because we want what we want, you know.
It was a lot of check yourself moments within these 2 episodes, and it's so beautiful, because we know that no one's perfect in this show, right?
Sure.
Everybody has their flaws and their imperfections, but you see these pieces of people that you're like, yes, that was good. Like Darla had this moment where she was in her NA meeting, and she was talking about her past, and she was like, when they look at me, I don't want them to see the stains. And I think that when she was saying that, I was able to relate to her, because I think that goes to so many things. Like, we make mistakes in life, we mess up, and that goes for Ralph Angel too. He went through his time in jail, and now he's trying to change, but everyone still see his stains. And you know, that can literally go with anyone in this show, especially when it comes to Vi and Hollywood. Like, we see them wanting to be together and wanting to have that family, but that broken trust is kind of keeping them apart until you know, where she almost think he died, but which was a debate between us too.
I was like, there's no way he's dead.
Remy's telling this emotional story.
I'm like, no.
We waiting for him to come off the bus. I was like, they really tried us. They tried us with that one. They did. All right, Queen Sugar, we see you. We see you.
Okay, well, what is your take on Aunt Vi and Hollywood? Oh my gosh, I know that we're running out of time, and we still didn't talk about so much.
Like, what?
I know, it's two episodes is a lot to
No,
cover.
we got pretty far. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we're good.
I mean, and I'm not with Hollywood and Vi, but I'm just kind of like, whatever, just either do it or don't. Like, just me.
I love them. I actually do love them together. I love Aunt Vi. I think she is the cornerstone for the family right now.
100%.
And with her not being her life in order, it kind of puts everybody else off track. And I think that she needs Hollywood, and Hollywood really loves her. Like, they really do love each other. I think, honestly, the last season, it was like watching like the most miscommunicated situation that you wish you could just say, oh my gosh, just turn around, just listen for a second, because you're like, it was just like passing, like two people like passing in the night and didn't even see each other.
It's very sad.
So I don't know. I hope that they stay together.
Yeah.
Well, we know he got another chance because he didn't die in an explosion.
Right.
So maybe he'll make it. But with Vi, I love her positioning in the family. Like, she's very, I don't care about anything. I care about family. And I want us to be together. And even for the dinner, like, they had this very brief moment where they were getting along. And I was like, yes, I love when they get along. I love when this happened. And they were celebrating Juneteenth, which I love that was incorporated in the show, because I don't feel like many people know about it. Until,
and it just passed.
And it just passed.
It was perfect timing. I was like, oh.
Oh, actually, I didn't even realize that.
It was Monday.
It was,
So the fact that they incorporated this, and I feel like people who are watching the show, they're like, oh my gosh, well, what is it? Let me go find it. You know, and I feel like Aunt Vi has that role, though. Ever since Ernest passed away, she has that keep it together kind of role. And I guess I'm looking forward to when they get along more, which brings us to some predictions.
Wait, is Hollywood still with Maxine from Living Single?
No, I mean, I don't think they're officially married, but like I think that's like his estranged wife.
Is she dead? No, I'm not.
She's not dead.
Oh, I think she's gone. Grab was like,
she just has like mental stuff. I think she just went away.
Okay.
Like I think she's still in like a hospital. But like
the best part is that Vi knows now. They can't do that together.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord. Well, there we go.
He was right in. Right. Anyone want to start?
Well, shout outs to Zay Talk on the chat, who already gave us his little prediction. He feels that the forging of the signature is going to be season finale territory, and that they will lose everything, or Charley will go to jail.
That's so devastating.
I was like, oh my God, Zay.
Think about her going to jail.
Shout out to Zay.
Yeah, that's a.
He went really
all the way in.
Y'all think Davis is gonna like let her go to jail?
Well, he let Vi get thrown out the club. He's real petty.
He is petty.
I can't handle it.
He's petty McBetty.
Yeah.
Like, he got
I can see him doing it.
the petty boots.
Yeah, it's like I feel like if he could get away with it, if it's gonna get him what he wants, and I totally can see him doing that. But I don't like Davis.
Right. What's your prediction, though?
My prediction, okay, and I like to have crazy predictions, and I don't know. So D from the barbershop clearly was into Nova.
I can't wait for that to hook up.
Right.
They already hooked up.
Again.
Oh yeah.
Again. Seriously, though.
But so because remember he was like, if you come back by the end of the day, it'll be full. This jar. And I mean, I was just like, something about that seems really weird, and part of me feels like, what if he's using the barbershop to launder drug money through there, and that jar was filled with drug money, and it's criminal money bailing people out of jail. I always have crazy predictions, just so you all know. Be prepared. That's what I think.
So he's gonna need to be bailed out.
Yeah, I think it was dirty money. Ooh. Just because I don't know.
Nova has her hands on dirty money,
and then she could get in trouble.
I mean, we know she has her hands on dirty money. She's been selling the.
She grows weed in her backyard.
She stole that $50,000 from Charley.
Oh my God.
She gets.
Oh, just 50,000. 50,000.
We'll do it. Sign it away.
What's your prediction?
Oh, prediction. I don't even know if I even have one this week. Honestly, I feel like it's just the beginning.
Started.
Yeah, and I'm like, anything could happen at this point.
I've been waiting for this since last season, and I feel like the Bordelons are gonna put their drama to the side, and they're finally gonna whoop some behind. Because you know the people who
the Landrys
who own their ancestors, and then we found out that their grandfather and their great great grandfather fought them back for it. Like I just feel like some drama's gonna go down. Like it's gonna get somebody's gonna get hurt. Like, we had a lot of death scares these 2 episodes, so somebody's gonna get hurt or might die.
Ooh. Oh, no.
Jeez.
Die off?
You guys are being real extreme.
Maybe Davis.
I'm like, I don't have a prediction. Someone's gonna die.
Let me calm down.
Yeah, calm down. My predictions are Hollywood and Vi are gonna get back together. It's gonna be fine. Kumbaya, right?
Yeah.
You know, Davis is going to continue to make this an epic uphill battle and struggle. Her divorce is not going to happen in this season. Nope. I think it's going to be dragged on 100%. For the rest of the season.
Oh, yeah.
No, seriously, because there has to be an obstacle to why Remy and Charley can't be together. So, and this is the thing. Davis is gonna get wind. He already,
before he signs,
he already was suspect of Remy to begin with. When he gets wind that actually something went down and there's something actually there, Davis gonna do everything to stop that.
He's such a petty man.
He's petty. That's what I'm saying. He's petty McBoots. So it's yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that.
We're gonna
'cause
have to wait until next week to kind of.
I feel like there's gonna be a baby by the end of the season.
Oh,
baby.
I hope it's not Micah and Kiki.
Half on a baby. Jeez.
Thank you guys for watching. You can follow me on all social platforms at @hey_it's_lay.
And you know, hang out with me at Selly Hangout. Franceli signing out.
Hey, and I'm Ryann Graham. You can find me on Twitter at Ryan with 2 N's. Graham, not Instagram at Instagram.
And as always, you guys can find me on Instagram at Pink English as well as on Twitter, English Speaks.
Thank you for being in the chat room. We definitely loved all of your commentary. I was like peeking to it. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.